This is well, mostly for me. I manifested food today. This is the third day that I manifested food. Basically, all my accounts are in the negative. They're not gonna. They're in the negative currently. That's not gonna be a problem for long. And I know for a fact that they were in a negative because I needed to sit. I needed to sit back and think of all the different ways that I could actually make money. I have so many different ways. I recorded a whole episode about that, a whole recording about that, and how sometimes we can be all over the place and we already have everything that we need right here. We just need to take a step back and zoom out of the big issue and zoom in. No, zoom out of the big issue and look at what we already have and what we know and what we can do. But how I manifested this food, right? I went to bed and I was like, that's all I ate, but that's not gonna be how it's always gonna be at all. So I woke up and one of my roommates, I think they went over to their friend's house and they had made greens. So they bought like a bunch of greens back. So I had some of that with my beans. And I was like, ooh, because I know that's what I said. I went to bed and said it would be nice to have some fruit and vegetables and some groceries that I didn't have to pay for. That's literally what I've been saying. I said it last night, and I said it the night before. And then I just let it go. And I went to bed. So I woke up today and I had beans and greens. And I think I had like 2 servings. And not like back to back, but like a few hours. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna eat beans again tonight. My roommate comes upstairs and it's just like I have food stamps. She's like, "What y'all want for dinner?" I have food stamp card. Uh, it was too funny because I was thinking in my head, I was like, I did that, and so now we have not only we got a bunch of different fruits downstairs, but vegetable and everything else. Because I was like, "Can you get some fruit?" Apples, but she got like apples, pineapples, mangoes, and a few other different things. And I was just like, I did the fuck out of that. I did that. Absolutely, I did that. I surely did. And I know I did that because I notice I get the things that I manifest when I release. It's okay to be a little anxious about stuff, but when I release the worry to the point of where I'm not like constantly thinking about it and I start working on something else, that's how you bend time, so to speak, because you're not so stuck on what's not moving, you looking at what is. So that's when I was doing my research and dabbling with the AI. I also took a break. I thought yesterday was Sunday, and Sunday and Mondays are my day off. So I took a break on Saturday thinking it was Sunday. And when I realized it was Sunday, I was like, oh well, I guess I'm taking a 3-day break. But I noticed I had to go back in my head. I said, this is why I'm gonna start writing down my manifestations. But I don't have to write them down. I don't have to write down exactly what I want to happen. All I have to do is speak it. Literally, all I have to do is speak it and then go on about my day and work on something else and it's done, basically. That's how I move and I operate. I don't have to write it. I get write the vision, make it plain. I just say what I want. I say what I want, but I leave wiggle room for other things to happen. So I didn't say what I wanted specifically, other than the fruit and the vegetables, because that's really what I wanted. But I didn't say on this day and this, that, that, and no, I did. Last night I did. But before that, I was just saying this week or this weekend, and then I left it alone. But I didn't say who was going to do it. I didn't say how I was going to get it. I was just like, something I ain't got to pay for. I don't have to worry about in our fridge. We're going to have a fridge full of food this week. And it happened. So when I can't talk to people who don't know what this feels like and have never experienced this, because they're doubters. They don't believe it. They don't understand it. They will absolutely tell you, oh, you're tripping, you're X, Y, and Z. I'm like, this has happened multiple times, babes. I have not had any money to pay for my programs because earlier in the year I was literally spending most of my money on books, courses, um, programs so that I can learn the programming of like different sites and apps and stuff. I was studying that. So that's where I spent most of the bulk of my money. So I wasn't putting my all into my other job. So my money slowed down. And but there have been situations that I know for a fact I manifested, and I'm just like, you just don't. You don't even know. You don't even know. I'm like, when it keeps happening like this, what do you call it? Luck? Truth be told, there's only one real culture that believes in luck, and I think is it the Chinese? I think I think Chinese are the ones who originally believed in luck. It's like I'm not Chinese, just like I don't believe in karma because I'm not Hindu. So those words don't apply to me at all. But I will say I'm a creator and I create my life. Oh yeah, I didn't. That's what I was saying. I didn't have money to pay for my programs, like my YouTube Premium and my Canva. So I, instead of being sad about it, I was creating graphics for Christmas cards to sell. And I'm about to post them this week because one thing about Black folks, we wait till the last minute to buy stuff. And I was like, I only got a few hours until this ends, and I don't have the money to pay for it. So I got so as much work as I could get done. Literally at 11:59, I got my last picture done. And then I woke up the next day and I still had the Canva Pro. Same with my YouTube. YouTube was supposed to end. Is YouTube? I think YouTube was supposed to end or it's about to. One of the two. And it's been a week and I still got them. And they were supposed to expire like around November something, like the end of November. And I said, I ain't questioning it. I'm not questioning nothing. I'm not questioning nothing, okay? Because why would I? And that's another thing. People be questioning blessings. I'm like, why are you questioning things that you got that you didn't have to do much for? But I always notice when I say what I want, leave it alone and go do something else, whether it's take care of me, whether it's rest, whether it's do my work or study, because I've also been studying astrology and other things with AI. That's when it manifests. That's when it happens. Every single time, like clockwork. Every single time. So I really wasn't concerned because I said, I mean, I've gone this long without money. I'm no longer tripping. I'll eat beans for as long as I need to, or as long as I have to. Whatever. It's been about me getting into my quote unquote soft girl era, embracing my divine feminine because I've been doing, even when I was hurt emotionally, even when I was hurt physically, and I have been trying to do, and I have been trying to go, and I've been trying to force things and push things. And I said, I'm done. I am so done. And I'm so grateful that I did get knocked down all those times because over the last 10 years of my life, I have been able to come out of some shit that I'm looking at people's vlogs, and with the exception of a few folks who have been working on it, there are so many people who have been hustling longer than I have, and they have gotten so much further than I have career wise, and we're in the same age range, like 29 to like 34, 35, and their health is crap. Their emotional and mental health is crap. They're lost and they're lonely. They got all the money, but they're lost and they're lonely. And I'm like, I'm coming into money. Well, I had money before, but I'm coming into money. And I got my mental health and stuff together and my physical health. I'm so glad it happened that way because there were so many people that were partying. I tried to drink it away, like Solange said, and I did. That was in my teens and early 20s, though. I'm so glad that that part of my life sped up and I was halted for a second. I can't believe I'm thanking Saturn. But my life had stalled for a second because I know other things are going to happen. But the old crap that was still over my life, I'm so grateful and so glad that I'm glad that I got to deal with that before my extra blessings come in. Hell, I had friends who were working good jobs and was making 50,000 and up per year when I wasn't. And you look at them and I'm like, you are not doing okay. You are not doing well. I can see it on you. I can feel it. Yeah, you got money, but you also don't really have money because you're overcompensating because you're spending so much money on clothes and liquor and food and stuff. All shade, you look a mess. You look a mess. And not even just look, because I say look also because I see right through people. Everything about you looks a mess. You may look put together from the outside, but somebody who really looks at you and sees the crap you're going through, yeah, you going through it, babes. And you're not putting none of that money to use in therapy or going to a doctor or hiring a trainer, a fitness trainer or a nutritionist or nothing. So you not only feel like crap, people, only other miserable people want to be around you because you're acting like crap too. You're annoying and difficult to be around too because you're avoiding everything else, and I could not avoid it. My ass was laid out and I had to deal with it. Now I'm grateful that I got to deal with it and not have to worry about certain things that other people do, like pills. But it was literally everything else that, truth be told, I would have rather have gone this way. People were like, well, people got to pay bills. I was like, and I would have been in that same situation too, had stuff not stopped me. And had I not been fighting it, because a lot of people could have dealt with their crap, but they use money as an escape from dealing with their crap. I knew quite a few of them. They use money as a reason to not deal with their crap. Well, I gotta work. Well, now I got a good job, so I'm superficially doing okay. No, you're not. And I can tell, no, you're not. No, you're not. Because truth be told, if you're doing okay mentally and you lose your job, yes, it might be hard on you, but you can bounce back a little bit easier if you have that right support and that right mental. But if you don't, it makes it even harder to bounce back if you're not working on your mental as hard as, actually harder than what you're working on with your financial. Because I've seen it. I've seen people who thought that they were good because they finally got a job. Not, yeah, they definitely solved quite a few of their problems. Hell yeah. But it was superficial. It wasn't real. That had been something that they had been waiting on for a long time, so they thought that's all they needed. Nah, because as soon as they lost their job, they were devastated again. In matter of fact, they became worse. Because even doing it, because it's understandable because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know how to work on your mental health. You ain't going to be able to do it, especially not by yourself. But people think solely money equals happiness. And I'm like, I'm here to tell you, as somebody who made very fast money very quickly, no, it's not. It helps. But if you lose that, what else you got? If you lose that, what else you got? What else do you have? I didn't have that. I had a roof on my head, absolutely. So that was a big part of it. But I also knew that what I had gone through and dealt with in the past was no longer around me. And I said that's also what kept me going. The crap that I dealt with, and now I don't have to deal with it. I don't even have to think about, well, I can think about it, but I think about it, but not like, I'm not living in it. I'm not surrounded by the same fucking people that drag me down and exhausted me, I will absolutely happily go. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. But earlier this year, I was like, I will happily go. Well, not happily. I did put up a fight. I am not too disappointed that I'm going without food because I know what the fuck I went through. And if I could get through that shit, oh, this money shit is easy. That's how I see it. Some people think the other way around. I think if I could get through this emotional shit, this money shit is easy. Because money is easy to make, especially once you stop chasing it. It's very easy to make. Once you decide to make a decision and you stop chasing a bag, money is so easy to make. Now, granted, it may be a little harder than others. I know why astrologically, but the emotional shit to me is the hardest part. Because sometimes, a lot of times, you have to work 10 times harder to get your money because the emotional crap is blocking you, because you haven't dealt with it. And that's why you have to work so hard, because you're getting and you're using any and everything to make your money when there's actually a journey and a path that's supposed to be for you that brings you money. And a lot of people are like, well, I got to apply to 50 different job applications. And the reason why you didn't get any of them is because you're not supposed to be working them. I tried to tell a friend of mine that he was always applying to jobs. And I said, you ever think that you don't get them because you're not supposed to work them? Now, I got jobs like it was nothing. I absolutely did, even when I didn't want them. Even when I was applying just to apply. But I now know that that was so that I can have experience in certain areas that now I'm incorporating into my business. And I'm a very likable person, so people wanted to give me a job based off of that. Just based off of that. Literally just based off of that. And based off of the interview. So anyway. I was like, you ever think that you're not supposed to work the job because you're not supposed to work the job? You're supposed to do something else or something else out there for you? It was like one person I knew was always helping people, was always being a Virgo, being of service to people. And I said, you ever think of like doing this for a living? Like not 24/7 or not overworking yourself doing this, but like having a license so when people ask you for help, you can just file some paperwork and the government or whomever or private sector can pay you because you're already doing it for like cheap as fuck because people would pay him here and there because he wanted to help. But I'm like, you could get some training real quick and file some paperwork or start your own business and have insurance pay for it. And people going to ask you anyway. So you might as well get paid. He's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, all right, cool. But he was always doing it. That's why I suggest things like that. When I notice somebody that naturally does stuff like that, I'm like, you're already doing it. Some people don't want to make money off of it, but I'm like, why not make money off of things that you do well? Especially when you're already going to do it. You're not obligated to do it, but the times when you do, you get paid for it. You get paid for it. Then doing free labor constantly and you're still pretty much broke. But people can do what they want. But if I'm going to be doing tons of research, because that's what I had to think about. I said I love doing research. Love it, love it, love it. I enjoy learning. And I do enjoy giving out free information. I said, but it gets to a point where people start to expect things from you, and I'm only going to give out a limited amount of free information because I saw on the internet this week how entitled people can actually be to the kindness of you sharing information that they wasn't even bothering to look for. They real nasty and entitled, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to give it to you. I have a select few I want to give it to, but no, I don't want to give it to you. I don't, because you weren't going to look for it. You weren't looking for it. You weren't asking about it. You weren't like, how do I do this or how do I do that? Because I answer questions like that when I come across them. If somebody's asking like, how do I look for grants or what grants do you anybody know any grants that are in X, Y, and Z, or anybody know how to do blah blah blah? I answer those questions, but the ones who are entitled weren't even asking for it. They wanted people to drop down and give them that information in their hand without them having to ask for it. And I don't work with people like that. I don't like people like that. That's really the truth of it. I don't like people like that. People like that make me roll my eyes. It make me go, ugh. Like, how you entitled to information you didn't want until somebody gave it to you? That's like it being entitled to Google giving you information you ain't put in the search bar. What? I realized that I don't like a lot of people, and I've embraced myself of who I used to be, because I used to always say I don't like people, and I don't, and I don't. I don't treat people nasty or with disrespect or like I don't like them, but certain people I just genuinely don't like, and I'm not going to pretend to anymore. And I love that for me. I love that for me. I'm much happier admitting when I don't like people, because that's my truth. I feel like me. And I haven't felt like me since I was young. Like young. And when I say young, I mean a child. Under 10 years old, I mean. Hell, under 8. And I don't feel like me in the sense of that maturity, but I feel like me in the sense of I know who I am. I knew who I was as a child. Adults didn't like the fact that I knew who I was. They were threatened by that. Because how the hell you a child and you know who you are? How are you so self-assured as a child? How do you know what you like and you don't like as a child? You don't know anything. So feeling that that's authentic towards myself, feeling that genuine towards within myself, it feels good. And I love it. And I'm so glad, I'm so excited to be able to go into this next chapter where I'm sharing information. I'm sharing information with people who are going to use it, and do well with it, because I don't give a fuck to share information anymore with people who ain't going to use it, who are going to read it and they're going to get a dopamine high off of, ooh, look at that, that's a good idea, and then don't do shit with it. No, I don't want to share information with people like that. Fuck that. Fuck no. Because those are usually the same people that will continue to complain about what they don't have and what they don't know. And I'm like, bitch, I gave it to you. You asked for something specific for you, and I gave it to you. And you didn't do anything with it. Yeah, that's you. It's not me. It's not the information. It's not the lack of opportunity. You need to figure out what it is that you need to do and stop wasting my fucking time and energy. Because now I am becoming really, oh shit, I know her. I'm looking at a vlog and I see somebody I know in it. That's wild. Yeah, now I'm becoming resentful towards you because I've been giving this information to people who, one, aren't glad to have it, and two, it's a waste of time. Waste of time and energy.